Hey there, welcome back to the channel. If you know me personally, you know that I'm behind the times on pretty much everything, and internet trends and sensations are no exception. I only recently discovered the term ASMR, and I learned that it has something to do with how people sleep and relax, and I was even more surprised to learn there's a possible connection to music. So anything to do with sleep, relaxation, and music is perfect for this channel. So today we are discussing what is ASMR and the possible relationship between ASMR and music. Hey everyone, my name is Matthew, and welcome to Calm Insomniac, where we're a community of people trying to get a better night's sleep. If you're new here, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for notifications. ASMR is actually a complex topic, and I seem to discuss complex scientific topics on this channel. If you missed my last couple of videos about delta waves and delta wave music, you can check them out over here. But before we discuss ASMR, there are a few things we need to consider. First, not everyone experiences ASMR, so the anecdotal evidence we have are only from people who self-report and describe their experiences with ASMR. Along with that, the second thing to consider is that ASMR is a relatively new topic. It hasn't been researched a lot, and ASMR is currently tethering the line between science and pseudoscience. This is why explaining the scientific reason behind this phenomenon is difficult, just because there isn't a lot of information existing out there. So with those considerations in mind, let's discuss what is ASMR. ASMR stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. This is not a medically created term, and was created by a lady named Jennifer Allen in 2010 after spending years in online chat rooms discussing with other people experiencing pleasurable brain tingles. Allen was featured in a New York Times Magazine article called How ASMR Became a Sensation, and she explains why she came up with the term ASMR, and it reads as follows. Allen started with autonomous because it was a feeling from within. Sensory was self-explanatory. Meridian worked triple duty, suggesting peak but also orgasm and the energy pathways of traditional Chinese medicine. Response was just to say that it was not a constant state. It happened in reaction to a set of stimuli like whispering, gum chewing, and tapping. But what are these pleasurable brain tingles that these people were experiencing? Well, again, it's not experienced by everyone, but what they describe are tingling sensations that occur in the scalp, back of the head, and neck, and that sometimes travel down to their arms and legs. Other people describe them as goosebumps that come in waves of heightened intensity, and other people describe feeling warm sensations. Everyone who experiences this agrees that these feelings are euphoric in a way, but also help with relaxation and reducing stress. Remember that these sensations come from certain stimuli, so what exactly stimulates ASMR? ASMR is stimulated by a personal interaction, and this interaction has two components, context and a trigger. Context refers to the fact that most people who experience ASMR do so when they are receiving personal attention, and that attention can be either real or perceived. This attention is calm, friendly, helpful, and the person experiencing ASMR feels safe with the person providing context. And trigger refers to the specific stimuli that is occurring during the interaction with the person providing context. These triggers can be tactile, auditory, or visual, and these are non-threatening triggers that are provided by the context, again, in a calm, friendly way. ASMR experiences have been self-reported during regular daily activities such as seeing a doctor, getting your hair cut, getting assistance from a teacher, or being with a friend or romantic partner. One important thing to note is that these interactions and the experience of ASMR is not sexual in nature, and that's something we'll discuss a little bit more later. I mentioned before that triggers come in 3 categories: tactile, auditory, and visual. Let's quickly go over some examples for each category, and remember that all of these interactions are positive and friendly. Tactile triggers include the light touching of your hair, arm, back, hand, or shoulder. These are unintentional or intentional interactions, and they happen at a soft, smooth, slow pace. Auditory triggers are created by the human voice or fingers or other objects. Examples could include someone whispering, fingers tapping on glass, crinkling paper, and these sounds are going to be at a very soft volume. And visual triggers are hard to narrow down as they can be pretty much anything. Common examples include watching people play with sand or slime, or watching someone create art. A classic example of a visual trigger for ASMR is watching a video of Bob Ross painting. With the context and trigger in combination, these interactions can be unintentional or intentional. An example of an unintentional interaction is getting your hair cut. So the hairdresser is touching your head, they're speaking to you, perhaps at a softer volume, there are constant sounds around you, such as the scissors or clippers buzzing or hair dryers, and for someone who experiences ASMR, these tingling sensations may happen unintentionally. Intentional ASMR interactions are also actively sought out, most commonly on YouTube, and there are content creators dedicated to making ASMR-centric content, and these people are known as ASM artists. These people are incredibly popular, and some of the largest ones on YouTube have millions of subscribers and millions of views. I'll link down below to 2 of the largest and most popular ASM artists. You can check it out. This is where it gets really polarizing between people who have ASMR and people who don't. For someone who does have ASMR and they are seeking these videos out, you will find it, or likely will find it, very relaxing and soothing. But if you don't experience ASMR like me, you might find these videos weird or taboo or even annoying or agitating. One of the other reasons ASMR is considered taboo or a bit weird by people who don't experience it is because these ASM artists are often incorporating some type of non-sexual roleplay into their content. An important question to ask is, are there any health benefits to ASMR? This is where it gets tricky because remember that not everyone experiences ASMR, and most of the anecdotal evidence we have comes from people who self-report. To date, there have only been 11 peer-reviewed studies that have been published about ASMR, and something else to consider is several of these published studies have not included a control group. So while we have a little bit of a better understanding to the health benefits and physiological response to experiencing ASMR, it's not the complete picture. People who experience ASMR self-report increased calmness and relaxation, as well as reduced stress and anxiety. One of the published studies found that 86% of ASMR experiencing participants use ASMR videos to help them relax and sleep, and 11% use ASMR videos to help reduce stress and anxiety. Studies have also found that people experiencing ASMR have increased brain activity in certain areas, have a reduced heart rate, and increased skin conductivity. These responses are definitively not the same as sexual arousal, but they are also not the same as simple relaxation, so ASMR falls somewhere in between. The same study I mentioned before found that 41% of participants use ASMR videos to help them sleep, including those participants who have diagnosed insomnia and self-report these ASMR experiences lessening their insomnia symptoms. So with all this information about ASMR, we have to finally come to the question, how are ASMR and music related? This is something that has actually been discussed a lot in research and the ASMR community, and that's because there is a similar response to ASMR experiences and listening to music. The most recent peer-reviewed published study on ASMR addressed this exact question. This study came out of The Ohio State University in 2018 and addressed this possible connection between music and ASMR. It's been long known that listening to music can create chills or goosebumps, and this is a similar response to ASMR experiences. These chills or goosebumps when listening to music is known as music-induced frisson. Frisson, or frisson, is a French word which means shiver or thrill, and frisson doesn't have to be experienced through music, but that's the way we're addressing it today. While music-induced frisson and ASMR have similar responses, including chills and goosebumps, a difference is that ASMR experiences are longer-lasting and sustained, but they are also more subdued. The researchers noted that there is a distinct difference between the nature of the stimuli between ASMR and music-induced frisson. Remember that I said before, ASMR experiences come from friendly, positive interactions. With music-induced frisson, the researchers noted that this actually comes from a state of fear. Now, this doesn't mean that when we listen to music we are afraid, but there are certain musical characteristics that create biological responses from fear or a state of alarm. These musical characteristics include loud sounds, which can be sudden or sustained, gradual increasing volume of sound, or something that sounds like it's approaching, low sustained sounds, and any sound that is shrill or scream-like. You'll notice that these musical characteristics are in direct contrast to ASMR experiences, which are gentle and quiet and soothing. So we have some explanations for why music and ASMR are related, but most of it is still relatively unknown and something that needs to be researched further. There we go. That is a brief overview into ASMR and the possible relationship between ASMR and music. One of the reasons I decided to do this video is because I was researching ASMR, and when you type that into YouTube, most people who explain ASMR are ASM artists, and they do it in a way that is meant to create an ASMR experience. And since that doesn't work for me, it's not helpful, and they also don't usually go into much of the science behind it. What I want to know in the comments is, are you someone who experiences ASMR? If so, what is your experience like? Can you describe it, and how does it help you? This topic has piqued my interest, so what I would like to do is continue this a little bit more, especially about the music connection. I have written to one of the authors of the music ASMR study that was recently published. I'm hoping to hear back from her and find out a little bit more about this music-fear relationship, and maybe we can explore this a little bit further. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Facebook and Pinterest, and check out my website, calminsomniac.com, where I have all kinds of articles on sleep health, sleep tips, classical music, and some product reviews. You can also sign up for my email list where I'll keep you updated on everything I post. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.